Hi, I'm Chris from Formden.com, and I'm going to show you how you can use Formden's form processing service with a form that you've coded or that exists currently on your website. Maybe you got it from a template, for example. Okay, so what does it mean to process a form? What we mean is you have a form, and what you want to happen is that when someone clicks on the submit button, the fields are validated, so we make sure that this is actually an email address, and then all of the information that was submitted in the form is sent to your email address, maybe saved online. And Formden does a couple other things like filtering out spam. So if we go to the contact page at Formden.com, you can see if you submit the button, we get a validation error. And if we enter in an invalid field, we're called on it. Okay, so the question is, how do you add this functionality to a form on your site without having to do all the work of writing a lot of server programming code and setting up a mail system to actually do the emailing for you and running checks on all your fields? It's really easy using Formden. Formden provides you with a online graphical interface where you can say, hey, these are the fields I have, make sure they look like this, email the results here, and it's all done for you. Saves you a ton of time while still giving you 100% control over the actual code that's on your web page. So this is a really basic form I've made to illustrate how Formden form processing works. All right, if you don't have a form, go to Formden.com, use the form builder. We can help you with that too, using the Bootstrap's beautiful CSS to create nice forms. But if you have a form, we can help you with all of the really mundane work of making it be processed in a nice, easy, seamless fashion. Okay, so what do you do? First of all, let's take a look at our form code. You need to make sure your form has a few characteristics so that it will play well with Formden. Two things you need to do. We only have one field, so for every field, you need to give a name. In this case, we've given our email address, the name, email. Really straightforward. When we're working with Formden online, we're going to say, hey, when you see the field that has the name email, do this. So this field needs to have a name that is unique. Okay, every field must have a unique name is number one. Number two is every field must be contained within a parent element. In this case, we've given the email field a parent just span. Right? It could be a div. You just need to wrap all of your field stuff in one element before you get to the form. And this way, Formden knows, hey, all this stuff is related. And what's going to happen is, if there's an error, this span is going to get a class that says has error, just like that. And you can use CSS on your own to define what happens to this class. So we could make this class red, in which case if there's an error, email address and the input turns red. And if we don't wrap your label and your input in a field, then Formden has no way of knowing, does label belong to this or does label belong to something else? So it's a really important thing to do. Okay, that's all you really have to do on your code end. Everything else is done through Formden.com. So go to Formden and click on the home page. You can click try for free. You can sign up for a free plan, gives you one form, or there's some paid options. And I'm going to let you log in and register, and I'll be right back with you on the back end. Okay, so you should have gotten registered just fine, and you're going to see there's just a default form, and we're going to remove all of the elements. Okay, now the first thing we need to do is point the form on our web page to this unique URL. All right, we're not using the builder, we're just going to point our form to this unique URL. So go ahead and copy that URL and come over to your form, and we just say action equals, and we just copy where we want our form to send all the information. And the method is known as a post. That just means the information is going to be sent in a secure way. It's not going to be visible through the URL. Also notice we're posting this over HTTPS. So the actual posting of the information is going to be sent to a over encrypted connection to Formden. Okay, so that's the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we now need to add just one line of JavaScript to your web page. So add Formden.javascript to your web page. So What that looks like, if you click on the link, see where it's located, JavaScript is located at static CDN Formden to JavaScript. Okay, now all we need to do is tell Formden what to expect. So what fields to expect and how to handle them. So when the form is submitted, we can choose whether we want to email the responses to an email address or not, whether we want to filter out spam, we want to do that, whether we want to store the responses online in a spreadsheet, whether you want to show a thank you message or redirect. But we also need to tell Formden what the fields look like. So in this case, we simply have one field that has the name email and it has the name email. It is an email type. It has a title of, we'll give it a title of email address. This is going to be the label in when the form is submitted to your email address. So we'll say email address, and then it will say, support at Formden.com if that's what people entered. And is it required? We're going to make it required. Do we want to validate it? Yes. So not only does it need to exist, but it needs to look like an email address. And if they don't enter an email address, you need to say enter a valid email address. If you leave the error text blank, it should just use the default. All right, now let's go to our form. Everything's saved. And we can see if we hit submit, this field's required. If you enter a number, enter a valid email address. Great, it works. That's really all there is to it. If we do get it correct, it will be sent off. Now in this case, we didn't email it, we didn't save it, but if we go ahead and store the message, update our settings, and send support at Formden.com, you'll see it ends up in our responses, support at Formden.com. Or we can say test.com, and there we go. All right, that's pretty much all there is to it. If you're looking for kind of some advanced options, sometimes you might not want the error message to end up right after the field. So you can move it around. So for example, if we want the error message to appear above the label, all we need to do is create an element, which is a span again, and we just give it the class error. So you don't see anything different on your form, but when you hit submit now, you can see the error message has gone to a different location. Really simple. Okay. And finally, let's use a little CSS. If we want to make the entire field red, we can add some styles to our page. So we'll just do some inline styles here. And one thing you'll notice is this entire field, email address, has the class has error. So we can just go has error, and we can just give it a color red. And now, has error, should be a colon. Now everything will be red. Okay. And if you want to style the errors separately, you can just use help block. So we could say help block, and we can give it font style italic, and that will be styled as well. So obviously this doesn't look the best, but I hope it gives you an idea of what's possible. And it really saves you a lot of time, gives you a lot of flexibility, but we still get all of the control of your form. So thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email at support@Formden.com. If you haven't done so already, go to Formden.com, sign up for an account, start processing. And if you don't have a form, you should check out our form builder. It really makes it easy to create any form you want, and all the processing is done just the same way I showed you here.